Welcome back to Family Dynamics Revenge Stories. She loved a poor man. Her own family disowned her, the love they never forgave. In our house, love was never supposed to be a choice. It was an arrangement, a responsibility, a reflection of status. And I broke every rule the day I fell in love with a man who had nothing, a family obsessed with respect. I grew up in a quiet town in the UK, in a house where reputation mattered more than happiness. My mother believed respect was everything, not kindness, not understanding respect. She raised us to care about what people thought, what neighbors whispered, what relatives compared. My elder brother Daniel inherited her beliefs. He was her shadow, her enforcer. I was the youngest, and I was expected to obey silently the kind of love they approved of. In our family, love had conditions. It had to come from the right background, the right job, the right accent. My mother often said, "Love doesn't pay bills, status does." Daniel agreed. "You marry up," he'd tell me. Not down, I nodded. I always nodded until I met Adam, the man who changed everything. Adam worked as a cleaner in the same office building where I worked as a receptionist. He wore the same worn jacket every day, caught the early bus, spoke softly. But he listened, really listened. He didn't ask about my family's status, didn't pretend to be impressed by appearances. He asked how my day was, and he remembered the answer, the beginning of something dangerous. Our conversations started small. A smile, a greeting, a shared laugh over broken coffee machines, then lunches. Walks after work, I told him things I never told anyone. He never judged, never rushed. He treated me like I mattered, that scared me, hiding the truth. I never planned to hide him. But I knew my family. I knew what would happen if they found out. I loved a man who cleaned floors while they dreamed of prestige. So I lied. I stayed late. I deleted messages. I learned how to live two lives, one where I was a dutiful daughter and one where I was finally happy. The first signs of trouble. My mother noticed the change. "You smile too much lately," she said one evening. "Who are you talking to?" "No one," I replied quickly. Daniel watched me closely. He always did. He noticed my phone, my absences, my silence at the dinner table. He didn't ask questions. He waited. Love versus fear. Adam knew about my family. I told him everything. "They won't accept me," he said quietly one night. "Not because of who I am, but because of what I don't have." I wanted to argue, but I couldn't, because he was right. The day everything changed, it happened on an ordinary evening. I came home later than usual. Daniel was waiting in the living room. My phone was on the table, unlocked. My heart stopped. "Who is Adam?" he asked. I couldn't breathe the interrogation. My mother came in seconds later. Her face hardened when she heard the name. "A cleaner?" she repeated, disbelief turning into rage. "You're seeing a cleaner?" I tried to speak. Daniel didn't let me. "Do you know what people will say?" he shouted. "Do you know how this makes us look?" I looked at my mother. She didn't defend me. She looked at me like I had betrayed Herb. The verdict. "This ends now," my mother said coldly. "You will stop seeing him." "No," I whispered. The room went silent. Daniel stepped forward. "You will," he said, "or you're not welcome in this house." I felt my world shake. Choosing love. I went to my room that night, shaking. I thought about my life without Adam. Empty, controlled, silent. And then I thought about life without my family. The choice hurt, but it was clear the morning after. At breakfast, my mother didn't look at me. Daniel placed my phone on the table. "You have until tonight," he said. "Him or us." I picked up my bag and walked out. I didn't know then that this was only the beginning. That love would cost me everything. That the hardest nights were still waiting. But one thing was certain. I was no longer their daughter. The night I lost everything. I didn't tell anyone where I was going when I walked out of that house. Not my mother, not my brother, not even Adam. I just walked. Because sometimes when your own family throws you out, you don't leave a house. You leave a lifetime the first night outside. It was colder than I expected. The streetlights blurred through my tears as I dragged my small bag behind me. I had packed nothing important. Just clothes, no memories. No proof that I had ever belonged somewhere. I sat on a bus stop bench, staring at my phone. Dozens of messages from Adam. "Where are you? Are you safe? Please call me." I couldn't, because I didn't know how to say the words out loud. When love meets reality. Adam found me an hour later. I don't know how he did. Maybe love teaches people how to sense pain. He stood in front of me, breathless, panic in his eyes. "What happened?" he asked softly. I broke. Everything I had been holding in came out. The shouting, the threats, the choice. "They disowned me," I whispered. "For loving you?" Adam said nothing. He just wrapped his arms around me while I cried into his jacket, a place that wasn't home. Adam lived in a small shared flat on the edge of town, one room. A mattress, a kettle that barely worked. "I'm sorry," he said, embarrassed. "It's not much." I shook my head. "It's enough," I replied, but inside fear was growing. Love didn't pay rent. Love didn't buy security, and my family knew that the weight of being a burden. The days that followed were heavy. Adam worked long hours. I searched for places to stay. Friends were polite, but distant. Couches were temporary. Smiles were forced. Everyone had sympathy. No one had space. At night, I lay awake listening to Adam breathe. Feeling guilty, I was the problem now. The responsibility, and I hated myself for it. My brother didn't stop. Daniel didn't let me disappear quietly. He called, texted, left voicemails. "You're embarrassing us. Come home and apologize. You'll ruin your life with him." My mother said nothing. Her silence hurt more than Daniel's anger. Reality tests. Love money became tight. Adam skipped meals so I could eat. He never complained, but I noticed. I always noticed. One night, I finally said it. "Maybe they were right," I whispered. "Maybe love isn't enough." Adam looked at me, hurt flashing across his face. "Don't say that," he replied quietly. "Don't turn their cruelty into your truth." The call that almost broke me. One evening, my mother finally called. Her voice was cold. "Daniel says you're struggling," she said. "You can come home." My heart jumped. Then she finished the sentence, "But only if you leave him." The silence between us was unbearable. "I won't," I said. She hung up, just like that. Hitting rock bottom, weeks passed. I lost my job after missing too many days. The stress showed Adam tried to stay strong, but I could see the cracks. Love was being tested by survival, and survival is unforgiving. The night we almost gave up. One night, Adam came home exhausted. He sat down and stared at the floor. "I'm scared," he admitted. "I don't know how to fix this." I held his hand. "For the first time," I said, "someone is scared. With me, not of me." That night, we promised each other something simple. No matter what happened, we would never become like my family. What it cost me to love. There are moments in life when you realize that pain has stopped being temporary. It has become a permanent part of who you are. For me, that realization came the day my own brother decided to destroy what little dignity I had left. My brother's final move. Daniel didn't just want me to come home. He wanted me to break. One morning, I started receiving messages from people I barely knew, relatives, old family friends, even colleagues from my previous job. They all said the same thing. "Is everything okay?" We heard some things. My stomach dropped. Daniel had told everyone, not the truth, but his version that I had run away, that I was living irresponsibly, that I had disgraced the family for a man who couldn't provide. He framed it as concern, but it was punishment. Public shame hurts more than silence. In our community, reputation is currency. Once it's damaged, everything changes. People didn't ask questions. They assumed I felt exposed, like my pain had been turned into entertainment. Adam saw it too. The looks, the whispers. "I'm sorry," he said one night. "I never wanted this for you." I looked at him and realized something heartbreaking. My family had succeeded in making him feel guilty for loving me. The door that closed forever. A week later, I went back to my mother's house. Not to beg, just to face it. Daniel opened the door. His expression was cold. My mother sat in the living room, arms folded. She didn't stand. She didn't smile. "You've embarrassed us," she said calmly. "People are talking." I waited, hoped for even one sentence that sounded like love. "It never came. You made your choice," she continued. "So we're making ours." She stood up, walked to the door, and opened it. "Don't come back." That was it. No tears, no hesitation, just finality. The moment I finally let go. As I stood outside that house, something inside me went quiet, not broken, finished. I wasn't angry anymore. I was empty, and strangely, relieved. Because hope is heavier than loss, starting from nothing. Life didn't suddenly get easier. Adam and I struggled. We moved into a smaller place. I found temporary work. We counted every pound. But something had changed. I no longer waited for approval. I no longer checked my phone hoping for an apology that would never come. I stopped shrinking, love redefined. Adam never became rich. I never became the daughter my mother wanted. But we built something honest, something real. We learned how to survive without cruelty, how to disagree without control, how to love without conditions. Years later, time passed. Daniel moved on. My mother grew older. They never reached out. And I stopped expecting them to, because closure doesn't always come from others. Sometimes you give it to yourself, and what I learned. Loving a poor man didn't ruin my life. Being raised in a house where love depended on status almost did. I lost a family, but I found myself. If you are ever forced to choose between love and approval, choose love. Because families that only love you when you obey are not protecting you. They are controlling you. And walking away doesn't make you weak. Sometimes it's the bravest thing you will ever do. Thanks for watching. Waiting for the next video, all friend.